And good evening, everyone. Thanks for clicking on WDTV.com. I'm Carrie Lingaliotis.
And I'm Ben Katko. Here's the stories we've been following all day on 5 News for you. It looks like police in Morgantown think they've finally solved a murder case that's been dragging on for more than a year now. It turns out the man that they say they were looking for has been behind bars the whole time.
That's right. 25-year-old Thomas Williams has been charged with the murder of 23-year-old Quentin Bolden. Now, Bolden was reported missing on November of 2011. His body was found 2 months later in Cheat Lake. Investigators originally talked to Williams shortly after Bolden went missing, but as the investigation went on, they were able to pick out holes in his story. And now detectives think Williams shot and killed Bolden after they got into an argument at an apartment, but we don't know whose. Now, police had already charged 26-year-old Kevin Jackson for apparently cleaning up the blood after that murder. He also apparently knew where the body was, but did not tell police. Williams was already in the North Central Regional Jail for a federal drug conviction.
And it looks like the man who might be responsible for 3 execution-style murders in Marion County about 40 years ago has finally been caught. According to a report by the Times, West Virginian 59-year-old Eddie Jack Washington was arrested earlier today without incident in Tampa Bay, Florida. Those 3 murders were committed in the Windmill Park area in August 1974. We've contacted the Fairmont Police Department for more details, but we haven't heard back from them just yet. But as soon as we do, we'll be sure to pass that along.
Well, 90 packets of bath salts, 2 cars, and $50,000 in cash. That's what the Harrison County Sheriff's Department seized in an arrest that some are calling a huge one at a local hotel yesterday after a few weeks-long investigation. Now, an undercover officer found Larry T. Gregory II of Shinston in a room at a local hotel. This man had apparently been a known drug dealer in the area. When he was found yesterday, they arrested him on a capias from a prior weapons charge. They then got a search warrant, and between the hotel and 2 cars, they found 95 packets of bath salts, more than $50,000 in cash, and a gun. Gregory admitted that he had gone to Ohio at least 4 times to buy those bath salts, and he intended to sell them right here in the Mountain State.
We've received a lot of complaints about this particular subject. I do consider him a major drug dealer in Harrison County, in the Harrison County area, and I consider this a major bust in Harrison County.
Now, the investigation continues as we speak. The total seizures amounts to about $100,000.
And charges have been filed against a man police say was involved in a stabbing incident last night in downtown Clarksburg. A little after 7 o'clock, 25-year-old Brian Winder got into an argument with his wife on Pike Street there in Clarksburg when she supposedly tried to get into a cab to get away from it. Police say that's when Winder stabbed her in the right thigh with a kitchen knife. She was taken to UHC and is expected to be fine. Winder was found on Traders Alley about 10 minutes later. He also had to be taken to the hospital after cutting his own wrist. The Clarksburg Police Department is investigating.
And a Fairmont State University official is on unpaid administrative leave as he is the centerpiece of an investigation. School spokeswoman Amy Pellegrin says David Tam was placed on paid leave in late January, but is now on unpaid leave. Now, he has served as vice president and chief information officer at the school since 2009. He was initially hired in 2005 as director of network security and servers. The investigation is being handled by campus police. Right now, we've got more about the story on WDTV.com.
And in other news, state regulators have revised a proposed rule that would increase fines for mine safety and health violations. The original proposal would have raised the civil penalties across the board, but the revised rule, filed earlier this week with the Secretary of State's office, would limit the increases to fines of $500 or more. Officials say the intent was to increase penalties for more serious violations instead of those that are less serious. The legislature increased the maximum fine to $5,000 from $3,000 last year. All right, let's take a peek at what we're working on in the newsroom tonight for Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11. First up, we have more about that arrest we told you about in a 40-year-old Fairmont murder case. We'll have all the details there for you.
Plus, cybersecurity experts say they expect more than 1 million cell phones to be hacked this year. We've got some tips on what you need to look out for tonight on Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11.
And that is what's making news this evening. Of course, be sure to tune in to Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11 tonight for the latest news and weather.
And until then, have a great night.